not. There's a pot right there. Well, where are we hitting? Okay, pretty good. Oh no, I'm out of ammo. 357 SIG. But you know what? I always carry a 40 caliber magazine full of bullets in my pocket. And you know what? I happen to have the means to switch out here, I think. Yeah, this is Hickok 45. Doing some shooting with a 357 SIG Glock model 32. Yes, let's drop in a 40 caliber so I can keep shooting without going back to the table and obtaining more ammo. Yeah, where is that? There it is. I knew I had some more ammo. 40 caliber. Okay. Yeah, now we can proceed. Yeah, I just wanted to shoot a little bit more, before we came back up here. Yes, Hickok 45. We're running a Glock 32 Gen 4 through its paces here. Okay, we're going to talk about it, shoot it, and whatever else comes to mind. So let's take a look at it. It is, of course, empty now with no magazine. Glock 32 Gen 4, and most of you know what a Gen 4 has on it now. Glock's a Glock's a Glock. Not a lot different, is it? You got your different texture there and your replaceable backstrap. I have replaced the backstrap on that. I added the medium, believe it or not, even though I have very large hands, I put the medium backstrap on it. It just feels the best to me, and let it go with that. So for now, it is a T&E gun I requested from Glock. Gosh, I've had this thing for a while. I think a couple of months. Just haven't gotten around to doing much with it. Took a few shots with it one day. I think you saw the evidence of that in another video. We had some cartridges left on the table, maybe the gun too. So this is an interesting cartridge. Glock 32, or Glock 357. Well, it's a Glock 32, and in the cartridge is the 357 SIG. This is not one you're going to see a lot of people carrying, is it? We've done one video with it, but it was mainly a conversion barrel we put in my Glock 23. That's one thing I was demonstrating there. The simplicity with which you can convert it to a 40 caliber, or back and forth, whatever you want to do. So let's take that 40 caliber barrel out, and I'm going to just put it over there so you don't get confused. Pretty dumb. I don't want to get confused. See if I can find that 357 SIG barrel. Oh, there it is. And just let me show you, they are the same, essentially the same barrel, just with a different, chambering, of course. The cartridges, if you don't know, the 40 and the 357 SIG are very similar. Let's pull a couple out here. The 357 SIG, I think I showed this in the other video, and many people have, I'm sure. You've got a nicked cartridge with the 357 SIG. It's the nickel case there. And other than that, they start out with basically a 40 Smith & Wesson case. I think the 357 SIG is a tad bit longer in the case, but it's the same dimensions, the rear part of the case. So everything in the gun, the Glock, whether it's a SIG or a Glock, operates the same. All you need to do is switch out the barrel. That's the cool thing, And while I've got these barrels here side by side, let me give you an idea of something else here too. This one's, I can look at the muzzle and tell pretty easily which one. This is the 40, of course, on the left there, and that's where your case would go. And in the 357 SIG, the 40 gets locked up right there, so there's no chance of shooting a 40 in a 357 SIG barrel. Now you might fire a 357 SIG in a 40 barrel. Now it actually goes down in there so far you would think the firing pin might not reach it. However, I was experimenting a little bit, and the case and the cartridge is held by the extractor to the point where it actually would fire. And it wouldn't be good. It might not blow up anything, I don't know, but you just want to be careful with that. I don't know if you've had any experience with that, any bad experiences or good experiences that you've survived, you might share those in comments. But that's just giving you a little idea of the difference there. Now, one thing that people will talk about with the 357 SIG, while I've got the barrel here too, is it's potentially, theoretically, and even from a practical sense, it's very reliable because you've got the same chamber basically starting out there, and instead of hitting that chamber as you're feeding that round into the chamber, instead of feeding a big 40, pop it in there, which is not a problem, you know, 40 does fine, you're actually feeding a more pointed bullet, see, because it's neck down the way it is. So it's like sticking a 9mm in there to begin with. So it's a really good feeding cartridge. It just sucks it right up, you know. So, you know, even if it was a little dirty or whatever might happen, you should have extreme reliability with this cartridge, which you generally have with a Glock anyway, or a SIG, or, you know, most of our new Wonder polymer, you know, pistols. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out before I forget it. Now, all these barrels and slides, let's get it back in the correct configuration. Here's our SIG barrel. I always look at the muzzle. The muzzle's a little thicker. Why would that be? Because it's a 357 caliber, right, instead of 40. And it's very easy to see that. And it says on the side. This is a Gen 4, so you've got the new spring. And with this new spring system, I would say the 357 SIG should take advantage of that as much as any cartridge, because it's a hot little round. And you know, that new spring system does seem to dampen muzzle flip, you know, to some extent. Not dramatically, but you can tell the difference. Most people that shoot them both, the Generation 3 and Generation 4, will tell you they can notice a little bit of difference. Okay, so 357 SIG, interesting, and I have all these separated here. Mainly, it's all 124, 125 grain ammo, just range ammo. It's expensive stuff, you know, $25, $30, $33, $34 a box. But it's essentially the same stuff. I just wanted to know what I'm shooting. That's the only reason I have it separated. We're not going to do a big ammo test or anything. And then what I don't shoot, I want to get back in the right box. And I happen to have a few magazines, so I just loaded them up before the video, so we don't do a lot of magazine loading. The beauty, of course, is, look at that, it says 40 on the magazine, but you can load the 357 SIG in the 40 magazine. So doesn't matter. Now, some of these that came with the gun, of course, this particular gun, they're in here somewhere. Here they are. Those are the 357 SIG mags. Doesn't matter. I don't really even have to keep them straight. I just want to know where they are. If I send the gun back, you know, I don't want to send them the wrong magazines, although they would work. But I want to, you know, send back what I borrowed, right? So, why am I shooting a 357 SIG? It's not as popular as 9 or 40 or 45 or maybe even 10. I don't know where it would fall in terms of the 10mm. Probably not as popular. I don't know. In terms of sales, you know, Glock could tell you it's probably on the internet somewhere. Everything's on the internet somewhere. 357 SIG. If you're just getting into shooting, I would not buy a 357 SIG. It's a hot little round. It's got a little punch to it. It's got some blast. It even has a little snappy recoil. Okay, and it's expensive, you know. So it might not be the best one to start out with, but if you shot a fair amount and you shoot a lot of 40, you shoot a lot of everything, and you can afford the cartridge, it's reported to be a really effective cartridge, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But before we do that, guess what? I need to shoot a little more. So let's take a few more shots. Now this is some Fiocchi ammo there. I've had that a while, and again, this stuff is really pricey. I'm assuming there will be no problem getting 357 SIG other than paying for it. I don't know. All right, let's take a couple shots here. You might notice, you know, it's a snappy little gun. Let's shoot the cowboy. We'll just shoot him one-handed here. Huh. That spring really tames it. I'll shoot this little soft drink sitting there if I can. Oh, knocked the heck out of that, didn't it? Yeah, cool. Let's see what it does to a tree limb here. Let's get that top one on the left. Whoa. little different than what the 9 does, huh? A little bit of authority there, I'll have to say. So, while it's a little snappy, it's nothing you can't handle. You would not want to shoot it without earmuffs either. It's pretty loud because of the velocity. It cranks on out there. Interesting gun. Like I said, it's a little snappy, and you might want to consider a different caliber if you're just getting into shooting. But this cartridge, it's in a strange place in a lot of ways. A lot of us have been shooting for a long time. I think we have a lot of respect for it, but not a lot of us carry it or shoot it a great deal. It's a necked cartridge. I've never liked to load, reload, hand load necked cartridges. It's a little trickier, and so I just stay away from that. It's a smaller, really fast round. I think it was designed to be at about 1,450 feet per second, to duplicate that wonderful 357 Magnum defensive round, 125 grain bullet going 1,450 feet per second. That's supposed to be one of the very most effective defensive rounds. Historically, it has proved itself. It really has. And that's pretty much what they're going for with this. And I think they pretty much duplicated that in some ammunition. Now, I think some ammo, a lot of it runs around 1,350 and in that vicinity. So you check your velocities and check with 10 Outdoors 9. He's done a lot of testing with some of this 357 SIG ammo and probably will do more. But it's fast and it's hot and it's a good round. It really is. And again, it's the expense of it. It's the reloading issue with it a little more complex, and it's kind of why do I want to get into this cartridge? But if you shoot a lot, you could do worse. There are lots of federal, well, I don't know about lots of federal agencies. There are federal agencies. I think the Sky Marshals carry this. There's lots of state police that do. There's a long list: Texas, Montana, Tennessee. Right here in Tennessee, they carry it. There's several states where the state troopers carry the 357 SIG. It's usually I think it's the Glock 33 that's the full size. To me, this is a full size gun, but a little bit bigger. But a lot of law enforcement, carry it. Not as much as, of course, the 40, or probably even the 9. But it's out there. It really is, and it's very effective. I'd say it's in a strange place. I have some friends. I know some people that carry it. Some really savvy gun people carry this. They are folks who are accomplished with firearms, shoot a lot. They've shot a lot of different calibers, and they have chosen this to carry. So it's not some weird oddball caliber that no one carries. It is out there. It's just not in high percentages, and it's very effective. Okay, let's shoot a little bit more here. Let's see. Let me try this Lawman. Lawman usually does a pretty good job on ammo. Now again, I haven't shot it a lot, just enough to know that it seems to shoot okay. I think the point of impact is a little higher on this Glock, because it's got a lower rear sight. Let's see, it's got it's a little bit higher, yeah. So we'll go across the hill a little bit. We've got to do that, don't we? But I took a couple of shots before we started, and it was seeming to go over the animals if I was not holding down. We'll start out on Mr. Gong. You notice it gets there pretty fast. Yeah, boy. I can't see the hits with the naked eye here. Let's go for the goats. Yeah. Those things were set hard, so it had to hit them hard to knock them over. Let me try those pigs. I'm gonna have to hold down, I think, even below their feet a little bit. Hope they don't mind. Yeah. Mr. Turkey acts like he wants to go too. Yeah. We'll throw a couple at that chicken. That might be a little too ambitious. Ah, well, must be one of my better days. Wow. You know, that one doesn't normally want to fall. Boy. So it screams out of there pretty fast. It really does. There's 124, 125 grain rounds. Let's see, the Lawman are, yeah, 125. So, oh man. Yeah, it doesn't hurt though. It really doesn't. It doesn't, you know, doesn't hurt me. And I'm, you know, I mean, I know I don't show recoil a lot, but I can be hurt, flesh and blood. Then when I shot those little short shotguns, you know, those little, whatever they were, 6-inch barrels, man, I was a little bit sore there, I'll tell you. And those bones are almost bruised. I didn't realize it when I was doing it, but this doesn't hurt. You know, you got your hands on a serious cartridge, and that's what you want if you ever need to fire the thing, right? So one other thing I wanted to point out is kind of, you know, size efficiency is an issue I probably don't talk about it enough in videos. It's a big issue with me, always has been. It's one reason I like the little baby Glocks. I like the smaller guns. People, I think, are perplexed, a big old ugly guy like myself, liking these little guns so much, you know, and I never put extenders on the grips or anything. It's like, this guy doesn't compute. What's wrong? He's weird. No doubt about that, of course. Size efficiency is really important to me. Particularly a carry gun, a gun that just feels good. I like the smallest gun, smallest, most powerful, most convenient firearm, especially for defensive purposes. It's just really attractive to me. If it's a gun I can shoot well, it packs a lot of punch, and it's small on top of that, hey, that's great. That's great, okay? I typically don't need a big gun to shoot it, you know, reasonably well, and I have worked at that. You know, I mean, I see guns like this or the baby Glocks, and if I could learn to shoot that gun well, man, look what I would have. I would have a gun, you know, almost fit in my hand, almost hide in my hand, that, you know, you can pop stuff at 80 yards, 60, 70 yards. It packs a wallop. It's extremely reliable. So I was actually driven to learn to do that. It wasn't like I just picked one up one day and thought, oh, that's cool, okay? So I was motivated. Now, what I was getting at here, before I got long-winded, in this size Glock, this is the 9mm 40 size Glock, right? Same width. Here's the 40, right here. Here's one of my 40s, generation 4, same gun in 40 caliber. So those are basically, you know, the same gun. Now I've got this one with the Talon grips and all that's covered up, but it's a, you know, that's mine. This one might be mine soon, but same gun except different caliber. Now, what I was getting at, you can get a 40, this size slide, this size gun. You can get a 9, and you can get a 357 SIG. If you go to a Gap, you go to a 45 to a 10mm, you get a much thicker slide, don't you? And we've done that, gone through that before. See, it's like on steroids, you know, and that's why they shoot so well, and they're so smooth to shoot, and they're fun to shoot, and why they don't recoil excessively. You have a really heavy slide there, okay? So my point is, this is probably, unless I'm not thinking of something, at least in the Glock line, in a gun, a 9mm size slide, 40 caliber slide size, this is the most power you can get. You know, with full power ammo and 357 SIG, you got something that really packs a wallop in a convenient package. If you want something more powerful, I guess some of the hottest 10mm would be hotter, maybe even some of the hottest 45. I don't know, you could argue that. But you've got a massively larger gun, okay? So that's another advantage of this gun. If you don't think the 40, if you look at the 40 as short and weak, you don't want a 9mm, you want something more power to it, and that's why you're always thinking about maybe a 10, or I gotta have a 45, you know. They don't make this size Glock in a 45. Well, they do, but you get lower capacity, and that's what you end up with, right? There's always a trade-off. You either have, if you go to a 45, you got less ammo, or you got a bigger, thicker gun. Yeah, I mean, you can't cheat physics, can you? With this, you still got your 13 plus 1 rounds, you know, flush magazine, and of course in the Glock 33, I guess you have 15 plus 1. So you got a very powerful round, and you also still have nice capacity. So So I mean, I can argue in favor of this gun. I would have no trouble carrying it. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't switch to it. 357 SIG, if you're out somewhere in the wilderness and you need some ammo, you might not find any, right? If I were going to carry this gun and have it with me a lot, I would make sure I had a 40 caliber barrel for it, you know, because you use the same mags. 40 caliber mags work just exactly the same. It's not a compromise. This is not a deal where, well, in a pinch you can use a 40 caliber mag and they'll work pretty well. They're the same mag. Same magazine, okay? It just says 40 instead of 357 SIG on it. So you don't have to switch out the extractor, you don't have to switch out the ejector. All that's exactly the same. You know, when you switch from a 40, a lot of people do that, they run the conversions. We've got an FAQ video on that, right? I really recommend, I think in that video, just go ahead and buy a Glock 19, because you really, if you want extreme reliability, you need to switch out the extractor and the ejector for 100% reliability. Because a lot of people do that and they put an aftermarket barrel in, and I'm not going to carry an aftermarket barrel generally for defensive purposes. So, but with this, you eliminate all those issues. Same extract, nothing needs to change except the barrel. You saw me do it at the beginning of the video, and that's all you have to switch out. Okay, so those are some of the points I wanted to make about this. And you know, you probably wondered, my gosh, are you going to start carrying a 357 SIG, Hickok? You seem to like it. I don't hate it, I'll have to say. Let's take a couple more shots. Now this is with the American Eagle. We have anything left that needs to be shot? Yeah, we do have a couple of things, don't we? Oh, I even have some ammo here. Like these bases right here, pots. All right, you know what? And that drink down there was giving me trouble. What was I doing wrong other than missing it? Okay. I think I was going to the right. John, did you put blanks in here? All right. Marksmanship 101. Take a deep breath. Relax. Put the sights on the target. There we go. All right. Woo. Oh, I just remembered. We have something fun to shoot here. We have a cinder block, and I have some more ammo. Oh man, this stuff's expensive, but let's shoot some more of it. We'll back up a little bit. Let's see, I have a magazine there. Oh, look at that. Evil magazine. I hope I don't need that. Let's just get some of this. All right. Y'all make fun of me for having so many magazines. I think maybe you know, have a better feel for that now, right? Why I have so many Glock magazines. Read the news. Okay, here we go. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's enough damage on him. Let's shoot one more magazine. Again, this is some hot stuff. It's a 357 SIG. I'm going to shoot this a little bit faster, just to see how well I can control it. Let's shoot that propane tank. He needs some more holes. My finger's too cold to shoot too fast. Anyway, Glock 32, Gen 4. Hope that was good and provide a little bit of information. All right? Life is good.